The Ohio State Buckeyes just got a bunch of uplifting news heading into the Big Ten championship game. And no, I'm not just talking about their dominant performance against the Wolverines, which I loved. But let's jump into it. My name is Aaron with my buddy Paul. We're the Big Ten guys on the daily Big Ten content. Don't miss out. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Boom. Hit the like button because we talk plenty Ohio State football here. So let's jump right into it. First and foremost, I know not all this news is going to be, oh, Aaron, wow, I'm glad we're talking about this. But we have to talk about it, move into, hey, what's the positive that we can take out from it? What are the things that, hey, one, yes, it's out of our control, but two, realize there's hope at the end of the tunnel. It's okay. It's going to be okay. So first and foremost, Chris Henry Jr., it's potential. He is likely to sign with the Oregon Ducks. Let me say this. Yes, it's not ideal that Brian Hartline is leaving. Yes, he's going to continue to coach on into the playoffs, which is ideal for the Buckeyes, which is great. But not only has he been a great coach, he has been a great recruiting asset. Not just the best recruiting asset in college football. Now we look at Chris Henry Jr. He came out and said, listen, I don't know, coaching changes. I'm gonna reconsider some things. So now it's possible that Oregon is the front runner, even though he's still a hard commit to Ohio State and did not sign, obviously. And then as well, apparently Texas is throwing his hat into the game. Let's just say this. Chris Henry is offered a good sum of money from the Buckeyes. That's first and foremost. Second, if he was smart, he would know and he would see, and I know Brian Hartline told him this and everyone else is telling this, and we'll look into what Jeremiah Smith has to say, but going to the university that produces hands down, the best wide receivers ever. There's a reason. People debate like, well, what's quarterback U? What's this? What's that? Everyone knows what wide receiver U is. That is the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's hands down. The production they've had in the NFL is crazy. So that's first and foremost. Second, the money's right there. Two, you have the best wide receiver in college football right now saying, listen, we need you. Jeremiah Smith, if he's coming out and saying that, come on. What are we doing, Chris? But even this, I'll say this. Whether he comes to the Buckeyes or not, I think there's still good news on the horizon for the Buckeyes. And the reason I say that is because there are plenty of wide receivers right now that are in the transfer portal that are solid. One in particular, I will tell you, is a guy that I hold very near and dear to my heart as a Michigan State fan, and that is Nick Marsh. Now, I understand Nick Marsh did not come out of high school as the number one wide receiver in the country like Chris Henry, a very coveted prospect, even though he was out of high school, River Rouge in Michigan on the east side. But Nick Marsh it's been frustrating to watch him because he's so talented, yet he doesn't have the quarterback that can get him the ball, or they don't give him as many targets as he should be getting. Obviously, I understand why he's upset, playing 2 years on a Michigan State team that just has not been good. So again, if the Buckeyes can get out there and scoop him up, which I think is a huge possibility. Again, if you have the opportunity to go to a school that produces the best wide receivers and gives them the best opportunity at the next level, why not? So again, is Chris Henry still on the table? Yes, 100%. But there's other opportunities out there, especially like a Nick Marsh that has a ton of more potential for the Buckeyes and would absolutely excel, especially with Tate leaving, would absolutely excel in this offense with Julian Sayin. Jeremiah Smith again, it'd be wild. So again, though Chris Henry might not work out, there's other potential players specifically in the transfer portal that would be huge for the Buckeyes. So comment below, tell me what you think. Nick Marsh, yay or nay? What's your thoughts on Chris Henry? Would love to hear from you. But again, I think there's hope at the end of the tunnel for that. Now, specifically, we jump into the issue as it comes to Brian Hartline. And I'm not going to say, let me say this a little better. I don't want to call it an issue per se, but him leaving. I will say this. Here's the good news up front. I truly believed that Brian Hartline was at the caliber of, hey, getting the Penn State job. Hey, potentially I really want him at Michigan State. Because one of the biggest issues at Michigan State is recruiting. Michigan State cannot recruit like Ohio State, like Penn State, like Michigan, all these other programs. They struggle to recruit like them. So bringing in Brian Hartline, hey, take an opportunity, take a chance on him. But then he ends up going to a group of 6 program, which I understand. I think he'll recruit really well in Florida, which you've seen before. USF, UCF, they get those scraps from those other big time programs in Florida, and they do well. And USF also, they beat some good Florida teams. But anyways, that's beside the point. The good news with him going there is the fact that he's not going to be at Penn State. He's not going to be at Michigan State. And so that is huge for the Buckeyes, that they're not going to be going up against him in conference as of right now. And I know it's still solid that he's still with the program. You look at the whole debacle with Lane Kiffin. I'm not saying it could have been like that, but Brian Hartline seems like he has a solid head on his shoulders, isn't trying to rock the boat with anything, and is trying to help the Buckeye program as best he can until he leaves. Unlike, again, the Lane Kiffin saga. So, again, not ideal that he is leaving, but at the same time, it could be much worse where he goes to a program like a Penn State, like a Michigan State, like a UCLA, but he doesn't end up going to any of those places, which is solid for the Buckeyes and honestly for the Big Ten, because they don't got to deal with him, because I think he's going to be a really good head coach as well. He's going to continue just to be a crazy recruiter. Again, that is why, as a Michigan State fan, I wanted to see him coaching in East Lansing. Last but not least, I would tell you the best news of it all on this show, because I know a lot of it, you're like, Aaron, you're not really giving us good news. You're just giving us maybe some more uplifting takes on bad news. Sure, I'll give you that. I am. But when it comes to the Heisman race, Big Ten championship, Saturday night is essentially going to be the Heisman game. It's going to decide in all reality who's going to win the Heisman. And it's not going to be your boy Diego out of Vanderbilt. It's going to be Julian Sayin, or it's going to be Fernando Mendoza. So whoever comes out there and dominates and honestly leads their team to victory, I think is going to be the Heisman winner. You look right now at the Heisman odds on FanDuel, they're pretty darn close. And so I think it is a huge possibility, likely, I would say, that whatever quarterback leads their team to victory come Saturday night will be holding the Heisman Trophy in New York City not too long from now. So again, I do really like Fernando Mendoza, I'm going to be honest, but you look at Julian Sayin and his production has been better as of late, especially against tougher opponents like Michigan in Michigan. You look at the Hoosiers, sure, Fernando Mendoza's performance against Penn State was good, but again, it was just such a close game. I think that though right now the Buckeyes they are favorited, I think there's a potential that they really blow the top off this game. Again, I have slept on Indiana all season, but clearly Ohio State is going to be their best opponent all season, hands down. And I think strength of schedule wise, Ohio State has had a tougher schedule, has beat better teams, and I think they're more prepared going into this game. So I think Julian Sayin, the Buckeyes have an edge in this game, and it's very possible what is it, a week from now, that Julian Sayin is lifting up the Heisman Trophy. So what do you think? Again, uplifting news for the Buckeyes going into the Big Ten championship game. I think there's a lot of things that suggest that, things are going to go their way. What are your thoughts? Comment below. Would love to hear from you. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We'll talk later. Peace.